going to thread the knotted end through the looped end. That gives us our anchor. And again, we're going to use the trucker's hitch. So you pull the loop out, wrap it around your fingers, and pull the loop through. Nice and tight. Run your twine through there. Crank the tree down. And then what I tend to do is bring it around the twine, like so. Pull it through that loop that I just made. Tighten that down. And then it is important on this particular knot to tie one knot below the hitch and 2 knots above to keep that knot from moving around. So that's what I just did there. And last but not least, once I cut this excess, for good measure, I'm going to go ahead and take this twine and drag it down into the door jamb of the car. That puts that knot on that door jamb, and when I shut the door, the tree's not going anywhere. So after that, we'll go ahead and give them a stand. If your tree stand already has feet on it, you want to make sure you check them out and see if they're still any good. These are pretty worn out, so we're going to give them some new ones. Give the customer their stand and they're good to go. A couple of important things. If the tree is going on top of the vehicle, we cannot put the stand back on the car for potential damage reasons to the vehicle. Once you take a tree stand off of a tree, it's important to set it upright up against something out of the way. That way nobody trips and steps on it because it will go through your shoe. And last but not least, when we have a lot of trees out here, make sure when somebody comes up to get their tree, you match the number on their receipt to the tag on the tree so we give them the right one. Thanks for watching, and I hope it helps. Hello everyone. What we're going to talk about now is doing or processing a flock tree. I know this isn't a flock tree, but I don't have one, so we're just going to have to pretend that it is. The most important thing when we're loading it onto the trailer is to make sure we pick it up kind of quickly so that the water drains onto the ground and doesn't get in onto the tree itself, because that will just wash the flocking right up. So Sam's going to grab up top here, and I'm going to grab down on the bottom, and I'm going to give a count of 3 and then kind of yank it up. You ready, Sam?
Yep.
All right, 1, 2, 3. If it had any water in it, it would have just dropped straight down. We're going to take it right back over to this trailer here. The process is going to be pretty similar as far as we're going to give it a fresh cut and we'll drill it. I'm not going to do that in this video, but since you have the other one, but that's how we would treat them. The only difference is how we protect them, because we cannot run them through the netter because it would destroy the flocking as well. So let's get the stand off here and get it out of the way. So instead of using the netting, we're going to use this plastic tubing. So I'll have it stationed back here. Sam will take that out, and I'll stand on that so he can roll it out. You want to have about 2 to 3 feet of excess. Make sure you can tie off on both ends. It should be pretty good. We're going to cut it down here. There we go. Then we're going to spread it open. I'm going to reach through here and meet Sam in the middle. So now that we have it, Sam's going to take one side. There we go. I'm going to take the other side. And we're going to go over the tree, under the trailer, over the wheels. Pull it up as high as it'll go. Then Sam's going to hop up there. I'm going to come to the back here, and come inside this tubing and grab the tree. And we're going to walk it right off the trailer. Put that tongue up there. He's going to pull the bottom of the tubing up on over the tree. Then we're going to walk right back onto the trailer. At this point, I'm going to let him tie off the top, and then I'll tie off the bottom, and it'll be ready to go. So what he's doing there is a good technique. You grab two sides of the plastic and kind of twist it up, and then you can use that kind of like tying a shoe. Just basically tie a knot up at the top. Then down here, I like to wrap around the trunk itself and start twisting it. And I kind of do the same thing. Sometimes I'll kind of pin it between the legs there. And then I'll wrap one of those around that trunk again. Tie it down. One more for good measure. And then if the stand needs to go back on, it can. If not, it can go on top of the vehicle. If it does go on top of the vehicle, we generally recommend poking a few holes in the plastic just to let it breathe a little bit, and it makes it a little bit more secure when you tie it down. Thank you. All right, so if we have a customer who's coming in a pickup truck and they want us to go ahead and put their stand back on, we can certainly do that for them. First thing we'll do is go ahead and cut this netting away from the trunk, kind of bring it up here, like so. Then you'll take this stand, like I said before, this guy is partially threaded, so we'll need to start it with a sledgehammer, but then once we get it started, we should be able to thread it the rest of the way in. So I'm going to take this sledgehammer. It is important to not choke up on the sledgehammer, as you can see from the damage here. This is from where the sledgehammer was missed on the stand and hit the rebar. If your fingers are there, it's really going to hurt. So take a wide stance, and it's not a home run derby. You just kind of gently hit it 2 or 3 times. I should be able to drive it in the rest of the way with the threads. Sometimes you have to go ahead and finish them off with the sledgehammer. There is a gasket in between the rebar and the bucket. What you are looking for there is for that gasket to go flat. Once that gasket goes flat, you know you have a good seal, the tree's ready to go.